Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we have yet another theme park review for you, and that is going to be Six Flags Discovery Kingdom up in Northern California. We had the opportunity to visit Six Flags Discovery Kingdom a week or so ago, and it had been a few years since we had been before, and honestly, things were not as good as I remember them being. The park was in not a great shape, but let's get right into the video to talk about it. But before we start today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss when we have brand new content from all of your favorite theme parks across the country. With that being said, though, let's get right into the video. Alright, so for starters, let's talk about our day when we went to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. So we parked in the parking lot, and for starters, the parking lot is pretty far from the front entrance of the park. Now, I thought Magic Mountain's parking lot was really far from the front entrance. However, this parking lot is significantly further. It takes a long time to get to the park. And you are greeted with an incredible view of the park from across this lake. So that is really cool, but taking that long walk can be really tiring. So it would be really nice if they had some sort of tram service or something to get you from that parking lot to the park that's super far away. However, that's not really one of the main issues I have with the park. I don't really mind that, and if the rest of the park was much better, I think it wouldn't be that much of an issue. However, the rest of the park is not. Now, when we got there, the park was opening at 12 p.m., and we were there around 11:45, so they let us into the park and had us just wait around until rope drop. And that was great and all, and then as soon as it hit 12, they let everybody start walking to the rides. However, when we got to the rides, we were met with every single ride not being open yet. And while they were testing some of the rides, they were not able to open them because an employee told us that they didn't have their manager ready to test the rides with the employees on it. And they said that they only had one manager to walk around the park and test each ride individually, which means it would be another few hours before the ride that we are in line for, which was Batman the Ride, to open. So we hopped out of line and started walking around to find any other ride that was open, and unfortunately, none of the other rides in the park were open. There were maybe a few kiddie rides open, but that was about it. So we finally wound our way back over to Batman the Ride, and it eventually did open about an hour and a half after the park opened. And when we were done with that ride, still the majority of coasters in the park were not open. I believe the only rides open at around 2 p.m., which was 2 hours after the park opened, was Batman the Ride and Medusa. Everything else was still closed. Now, luckily, most of the other coasters opened up later in the day. However, we only stayed till about 4 p.m., which was really unlucky because most of the rides were not open until around 3. So we didn't have a chance to ride many of those rides multiple times like we wanted to. I believe Joker opened around 3 p.m., and that line wasn't that bad. It only took about 20 minutes, even though it was pretty well filled. The employees at the park were doing an incredible job. None of this blame goes to the employees at all. They are really doing a good job running the park as best to their ability. However, it's just really unfortunate. It's very apparent that they're understaffed, and having those rides not open until 2 to 3 hours after the park opened is really a bad sign. Additionally, I hate to sound negative, but talking about the rest of the park, the front of the park looks very nice and well kept. However, as you get more towards the back of the park, especially where all the animals are, it looks really unkept, and like they're not really caring about much of the park back there. There were even a few rides that were complete disrepair. They were clearly not open, but also clearly not even trying to open them because parts of the ride were apart and just kind of sitting there. They had old Fright Fest props still out that were not being used, kind of just laying around there. And just the whole park in general felt really abandoned in the back of the park, which is really sad. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom has one of the best spots of land out of any theme park ever. It's incredible. It's got this river that runs alongside the back of the park. It's a really beautiful park, so it's really sad to see it in such disrepair because it really has so much potential. Be sure to check out my vlog from the day that we went to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom because I go more in depth about what they could do to improve that area of the park. However, for this video, we're going to be talking about some other things in the park. Alright, but enough about the negatives. Let's talk about some of the positives about this park. And I think for starters, the Joker is an incredible coaster. Both the Joker and Medusa are both must rides when you go to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. They really make the park have that good lineup that they do. They're just such fun rides. Medusa is one of the best flowless coasters, if not the best flowless coaster that I have ever been on. And Joker is actually a really good RMC. I know it gets overshadowed by some of its other RMCs, However, it is still a really fun ride, and even though it's one of the weaker RMCs, it's still an incredible coaster, and I would strongly suggest checking it out on your visit. Unfortunately, both the Flash and Superman Ultimate Flight were closed on our visit. However, both of those rides are really fun as well, so if they're open when you go, definitely check them out because they're really fun launch coasters. Also, their brand new coaster, Sidewinder Safari, while it is not the best coaster in the world, it's just a family spinning coaster, it does actually have some really cool theming, and they really put a lot of effort into making the area around the ride look nice, and the ride itself. So I definitely applaud Six Flags for making that part of the park look nice. And it's actually a really fun ride. The line moved pretty fast because they're using a continuously loading station, which I always love, and the theming around it was just really good. Also, the ride sign was incredible. It's one of the best ride signs I've seen, especially at Discovery Kingdom. So Six Flags Discovery Kingdom does actually have a really good collection of rides. It just sucks that the rides aren't always open when you go. And especially that the rides don't open on time. That is the most annoying thing about visiting Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Overall, though, I'd say that we had a fun time at Discovery Kingdom. It definitely wasn't one of the worst visits that I've had at a theme park before. However, it's really disappointing to see the park in this shape. When I went 2 or 3 years ago, it was in much better shape. All the rides were open on time. They're all running smoothly and with no operational issues. So it's just really sad to see the park in this state. I visited around 5 years ago and the park was incredibly better back then. So it's really hard to see the park like this now. It's really clear to see that over the years the park is slowly falling under the new management of Six Flags and not doing so well as they used to be, and they're also charging a really steep price. They're charging almost double the admission as California's Great America, just a few hours away, and I think California's Great America is a significantly better park than Discovery Kingdom. So it's sad for me to say, but I don't think Discovery Kingdom is worth a trip out there unless you're going just for the coasters. Especially if you have a Six Flags pass, then definitely check it out. However, the ticket prices are really expensive, so if you have the choice between California's Great America or Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, I would definitely choose California's Great America, especially because that park is going away soon. I hope with California's Great America closing that maybe Six Flags Discovery Kingdom will start putting a little bit more investment into the park since it will be the only park in Northern California. However, I'm not sure if that's going to be the future of the park. Overall, though, like I said, the park is not awful. It's still a really fun park to visit, and I would suggest checking it out if you have the chance or the time. However, it's just really hard to see the park in this condition. Like I said in the beginning of the video, none of this is the employees' fault. They are doing their absolute best, and they are doing a fantastic job running the park to their best of their ability. However, I wish Six Flags would take the time to fix the issues happening in the park right now. However, that's going to do it for my full review of Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Northern California in 2022. Thank you so much for watching this video today, but before you go, be sure to check out this video where we rank every single coaster at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in 2022. Thanks for watching World of Immersion today, and we'll catch you in the next video.